Canada is a strong member of NATO, and I very much look forward to my visit in a few weeks, where we will have more to say about how we will continue to live up to our responsibilities and quite frankly, to the expectations that people have around Canada.
Justin Trudeau is preparing to take part in a meeting of powerful NATO leaders in Poland next month. In his end-of-sitting press conference today, he certainly opened the door to further involvement in Eastern Europe to respond to increased Russian aggression. Should Canada contribute more troops and take on a leadership role? Joining me now, David Lametti, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of International Trade. Niki Ashton is the NDP's Jobs and Employment Critic, and Michael Cooper, he's in Edmonton, and he's the Conservative Deputy Justice Critic. It's summertime, so MPs have to know everything. So it's like sitting down for a pop quiz a little bit when you're in the summer. But I'm sure you're all well informed. David Lametti, let's start with you. It did sound to me like the Prime Minister sounded willing, at least, to pony up more troops for that increased NATO mission. I know that hasn't been announced yet, but why would that be a place where we would want our troops? What would be the attraction of bulking up troops there?
Well, we've been committed to NATO since day one, 67 years ago, and we've been there at every step of the way and in every action that NATO's taken. We've been a partner, a full partner, and we'll be there again for anything that NATO decides is within its security interests. It's a transforming organization. It has different security needs. So whether it's in Europe, or Eastern Europe, or the Baltic states, or whatever, we'll be there as part of the deciding group to decide what's best moving forward.
Michael Cooper, how important would it be for Canada to bulk up its presence there, given the kinds of messages we're trying to, reassurance messages we're sending to Ukraine, given the Prime Minister is headed there at the beginning of July?
Very important. The territorial integrity of our Eastern European NATO allies is being threatened every single day by the Russians. That's why NATO wants to establish a new force in Eastern Europe. It's why our Eastern European NATO allies have asked Canada to step up with 1,000 more troops. And quite frankly, it's very disappointing that we haven't seen more leadership from the Prime Minister. Rather than standing with our democratic Eastern European NATO allies against Russian aggression, the Prime Minister to date has effectively given them the cold shoulder.
In what regard? What more? He met with Ukrainians this week. He's headed off to Ukraine at the beginning of July, and it sounds like he's going to meet the call from NATO to do something in the face of Russia. So where is the flaw in that plan?
Well, he has not committed to 1,000 troops, even though the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany have all committed to providing troops in Eastern Europe. And so it's just part of a pattern on the part of his government to reverse the very principled stand that Prime Minister Harper took in standing up against relentless Russian aggression.
Okay, well, we don't know what he's going to do yet because they haven't said anything. I imagine the announcement will come at the NATO meeting. Niki Ashton, let me bring in the NDP voice on this. Do you support an increased presence if NATO is asking for it from Canada?
Well, we are keen to see what NATO is asking for exactly. For us, what's very important is that whatever decision Canada takes, that it be something that all parties are consulted on, that it comes before Parliament, and certainly we haven't heard talk of that yet. This obviously would be a serious undertaking to deal with very serious issues and aggression that we are seeing happen overseas. But nevertheless, this needs to come before Parliament, and we all have to be consulted.
Okay, let me do a round on F-35s because it's sort of tangentially related because there are concerns that what we have now in terms of a fleet isn't enough to do the things that NATO and NORAD and others are asking of us. The Prime Minister talked today about a messy procurement process under the previous government, but he also didn't say this is going to be an open bidding process either. So I don't really quite understand where we're at, and I don't know that you'll have the answer, David Lametti, but is it an open process, or are we looking at all options to replace the fleet?
Well, we're looking at all options. No decision has been made. I mean, that's I think the point to underscore. No decision has been made in any way, shape, or form. We've got 30-year-old planes. When the Conservatives looked at this problem, they had 20-year-old planes, and frankly, for 10 years, they mucked it up. As the Prime Minister said today. So we're going to look at all of our options. We're going to make sure that we address this capability gap because we have to maintain NORAD, NATO commitments, domestic security commitments. And we've got 30-year-old planes. So it's a stretch sometimes to keep those planes going and in the air, and we have to address that. So we're going to move forward, and we're going to address that in the best way possible, the best manner possible in terms of process. Both our Ministers of Procurement, Minister Foote, and our Minister of Defence, Sajjan, are working hard at this file, and we're going to come up with a good answer.
So that, to me, again, that piled on top of what the Prime Minister said, Michael Cooper, today, sounds to me like it might be an open process, it might not be. They might just hand someone the contract. Is that how we should interpret that? And do you have any issues with that?
Well, it seems like it's very unclear. I mean, every day it seems like the Prime Minister is making it up as he goes along. And look, during the last election, the Liberals were very clear that it would be an open and transparent process. And we've seen to date them apparently reneging on that commitment, and I think Canadians should be very concerned about that.
Niki Ashton?
Yeah, we're very concerned that that there is no commitment to an open procurement process. I mean, we've certainly been advocates on that front. It very much goes against what we heard from the Prime Minister during the election, and certainly doesn't fall under the real change that that was committed to Canadians by the new government. So, you know, we're going to continue pushing for an open procurement process, and that's the only way we can get to a result that is acceptable to everyone.
Okay, one round on Brexit, because the vote is going to start to roll in tomorrow on this show. We'll start to see it. So I'm not sure where the Conservative position is. A little all over the map. Maybe we'll start with you, Michael Cooper, just to put you on the spot. What is the actual party position? Because Andrew Scheer, Deepak Oberoi, they seem to have different positions on Brexit. What is the position that the Conservative Party supports? That should Britain stay or go?
Well, look, the United Kingdom is one of Canada's strongest allies, and we will respect the decision of the people of the United Kingdom in the referendum tomorrow. Regardless of the outcome, it's important that Canada continue to have a strong relationship with a strong United Kingdom, as well as a strong relationship with the European Union. Ultimately, the people of the United Kingdom will have to answer the question whether they're better off within the European Union, and that's a question that I can't answer, and we will just have to wait with interest tomorrow.
But if the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Canada, and many, many others have made a position, the Conservative Party surely has a position.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, our position is that we respect the democratic decision of the people of the United Kingdom.
Okay. Niki Ashton, does the NDP have a position on this, stay or go?
Well, for us, it is very important that the citizens of Great Britain be the ones that make that decision. I will say we find it pretty curious that the Prime Minister did wade into this discussion when on the other hand, you know, when he was asked about Donald Trump, it was sort of a reference to things being not wanting to wade into to what that would what a Trump presidency would mean to the U.S. So a bit of a you know, double standard on this front. For us, it's
there are repercussions for Canada when it comes to the EU trade deal, and I'm not sure you could say the same for
yeah, I mean,
and
no question that tomorrow's result will have an impact either way. I mean, I've got lots of family in the UK. Obviously, people are very much involved in this debate. But the fact of the matter is that we're close with the UK, and we will continue to be close with the UK. And we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Okay, the Liberal government has a position, and that's stay. Is it not?
Well, we believe that citizens of the UK will decide on their own what they're going to do. But that being said, we believe in a strong United Kingdom. We have a great relationship with them within a strong Europe. We have a number of different kinds of ties with Europe as well.
Would you, given that your file is trade, would you be concerned about what happens to the CETA agreement if they decide to leave? Because that's a big exporter right there.
We've committed to signing CETA. Our European partners have committed to signing CETA and ratifying it. We believe we can ratify it this year for 2017 on both sides. We're confident that that's going to happen, whatever the outcome.
Well, given that we're looking at maybe a 2-year negotiation period for Britain to reinvent itself, would that help your process, whereas the United States, that is nowhere near as far along, they might be out of luck?
Well, look, it is, we will be in CETA with Europe. If the United Kingdom chooses to leave Europe, they're going to have to negotiate the terms of that settlement. And that's really got nothing to do with CETA in that sense, in that formal sense. We're going to be pushing hard for CETA. And as the Prime Minister has shown leadership on this file, he's shown leadership on the NATO file. He's come out and said what we believe, which is we want to see a strong UK. We would prefer to see that strong UK in a united Europe, but ultimately the people of the UK will decide.
Okay. You all did good homework there. 3 different topics. Appreciate it. MPs David Lametti, Niki Ashton, Michael Cooper. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Rosie.
Thank you.